Good to go.
Welcome, councillors and staff and gallery, to the April meeting of council. With that, I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting this evening on the lands of the Nadgeri people. We recognise the Nadgeri people as traditional custodians of these lands and acknowledge their continuous connection that they have with country. The land that is the Barossa covers a vast area, and so we'd also like to pay our respects to the Paramount and the Ghana nations, as well as the 6 generations of European settlement in the Barossa region. Members, I have 2 apologies from Councillor Troop and Councillor Greatwich. We can move on to item 2.11, and that is the adoption for confirmation. The council meeting held on the 17th of March 2026 at 5:30, and 2.1.2, the special meeting held on Wednesday the 1st of April 2026 at 5:15. Will someone move that those minutes be confirmed? Councillor De Vries moved and seconded Councillor Barrett. All those in favour? Carried. There's no matters arising, there's no petitions. There is a very important part of the evening, and that is volunteer recognition for Sue Martin. Sue. I'm going to bring you out the front so that you're the centre of attraction. Come over here. Sue, I've got a whole list of things that you've been active in, and 17 years and 6 months. What was it? 28. Yeah, okay.
15 from 1997. I was in primary school to now they're 14 year gap. 2012. And then started in 2014.
Oh, you've done exceptionally well, and on behalf of the elected members, thank you for all of that, because you've been in part of the community transport program as a volunteer driver all that time. Now, I hear that you really enjoy taking long drives. What, the short stuff, not so great?
I like driving.
Okay, good on you. And I also understand that you like a cosy coffee shop and exploring the shopping centres while you're out there. So you give the old plastic a bit of a workout, do you? Very good. And look, the people that you've travelled with and conveyed them to many, many different appointments, the feedback is that they all enjoy that as an adventure. So that is great. And you love to chat and connect with new people while on the road. You've done something in the order of 2,388 hours. That's just what they've recorded. You've probably found a few more along the way somewhere. And during that time, you've travelled 80,000 kilometres. And that's equivalent to 5 laps around Australia, if you're tired. And 11 trips between Sydney and Perth, and 2 laps around the world. You like that one? Did you enjoy all the things you've seen on those 2 laps? No, look, on behalf of council, sincere thanks for your valued contribution. It is greatly appreciated, and without people like you in our community, we would not be the place that we are today. So congratulations to you. Well done. Good on you.
Hang on, Ben.
Take 2.
Do you want to take it out of the slip, Jim?
Okay. Well, you need the notes, don't you? Just refer to it later on.
I'll grab that horrible sheet.
Excellent, there we go.
There's no notices of motion, and there's no questions with notice. Item 4.1 is the Mayor's report, and I just would like to acknowledge the contribution from the new Minister of Tourism and Environment, Emily Burke, who came up. She was meant to come up to the Tanunda Street Fair Festival, and at the last minute she phoned and said, is it still worth coming up? And she decided to come up, and she walked the street and chatted with quite a number of business people. We had a great conversation about some of the tourism opportunities and how keen she is and to take up and have further conversations in her new role. So that was really worthwhile and very valuable. And it's been a fairly active month, to say the least. I see some figures of economic benefit from the gather around in the order of $10.6 million. So it's really paying off as far as those activities there. Councillor De Vries.
Caton Road, Your Worship.
Yes.
We've been along there when it was dirt. It's now bitumen.
It's all bitumised, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to fill in the council about that, about how wonderful that is for the people of Macolta.
Well and truly, and yeah, look, the traffic will only increase, and I guess it's a result of grant money that staff pursued and assisted in sealing that. So yeah, it was a great outcome. Someone like to move Councillor De Vries moved and seconded. Councillor.
I've got a question.
Okay, so okay. Seconded Councillor Hearn. I'll take the question.
Thank you, Mayor. It relates to your trip out to Black Hill Road at Canberra. What the question is about, because it's got direct relevance to item 7.3.2 later on in the meeting with Krieg Road. I'd just like to know a bit more about this Master Dus S by the highway website, because I got on their website and it didn't tell me much about this stuff, and I'd just like to know a little bit more about it, please.
We can expand later if you like, or you want to go for it. Yeah, well, we did go for a trip just to go out and see whether we could improve our service levels, because I'm getting to the point where I think at some stage we've probably got to start to look at some of these areas, and so Mr. Clark will take over from here. He's the technical man. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, we went out to have a look at the treatment. Basically what it is, it's a product that gets applied as you construct the road, and it enhances the structural integrity of the profile. So we go down with our rubble, and traditionally you need to go and grade it depending on the number of vehicles, 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year, depending. This here provides a structural component that out there they haven't graded it at all for over 2 years now, and the road is still structurally, drives really, really well. So we're looking at some options for that, to look at how we can get a better service out of our roads and not having to try and offset the grading components, to try and make sure we can get where our major arterials and roads that take a lot of traffic, can we look at some alternatives to sealing them that provides, excuse me, almost a sealed surface without the ongoing costs and upfront costs of providing an asphalt surface. So how the product works exactly is kind of, they don't disclose obviously their research component, but the on-ground, what we saw on ground and the feedback from Mid-Murray has been that yes, it does work, and it's provided a really strong outlook, that they're expecting probably another 3 to 5 years of life before they even need to touch it at all. And you can, as the product kind of starts to deteriorate in the surface, you can reapply a spray over the top that basically reactivates the product to give you another 2 or 3 years out of it. So you can look at sort of getting 7 to 10 years with minimal maintenance work on a road. So that's what we're looking at trialling at in the future run around Krieg Road.
So a bit like a plasticizer.
Yeah, something like that. It's some sort of, basically it just ties, or it bonds it all together and binds it really tightly so that the fines don't fall out and pluck out as you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've never been a great advocate for these additives, but I was really surprised to see how well this was performing. It was almost like a concrete road, and it was performing extremely well.
What did we do a similar sort of thing that lasted for years without any work.
I'm not certain about that one.
I forget what colour it was. It was might have been mixed with cement.
Might have been it might have been a lime stabiliser. Yeah, we have used lime stabiliser. Yeah, might have been that. Yeah. Anyway. I have a mover and a second. Are all those in favour? Carried. Item 6 is some matters for information. There's no questions. I'll move straight on to the debate report, which is 7.1, which is the future of the Sister City Agreement, on page 40. Moved Councillor Angus and seconded Councillor Priest. Either one wish to speak to it?
Seeing I was probably in the council at the time that this was initiated, I think these things run their course, and if it's come to finality, it's come to finality.
Any further comment? All those in favour? Carried. 7.1.2 is the updated appointment of representatives of the Sister Cities Advisory Committee, with a recommendation there of Lorna Schiller and Millie Hoffman, and the endorsement of the attachment, the Sister City Advisory Committee's term of reference. Moved Councillor De Vries and seconded Councillor Lane. Either one wish to speak to it? No further comment. All those in favour? Carried. (7.1.3) is a review of the policy governance framework, with endorsements of the policy framework as per attachment 1, along with the policy process development and review guidelines. Moved Councillor De Vries and seconded Councillor Schilling. Either one wish to speak? No further comment. All those in favour? Carried. 7.1.4 is the variation of delegation register, updates to the legislation on page 79. Councillor Barrett. Moved Councillor Evans and seconded Councillor Barrett. Either one wish to speak? Okay. No further comment. All those in favour? Carried. (7.1.5) is the Executive Leadership Team Performance Review Framework on page 102. Councillor Priest.
I'll move the motion when it's ready.
Moved Councillor Priest and seconded Councillor De Vries. Either one wish to speak to it? Put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. 7.1.6 is the South Australian Civil and Administrative Tribunal disciplinary action against Councillor Priest on page 112. Councillor Priest.
I'll recuse myself as this regards to me.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Schilling.
I have a question, please.
Yes, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to know where we're up to with costs in regards to this matter, please. Through you, Mr. CEO.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I did an update week or so ago. I think it was, do you remember what figure I sent you? I think it's 82.
On top of this,
No, that's in total.
thank you.
I'm just looking that up, so just give me 1 second.
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Moved councillor Schilling
Either or.
and seconded councillor Evans. Either one wish to speak to it?
Can I just,
Oh, yep, clarify that figure.
for that particular item, $67,357.26.
Okay. Either one wish to speak to it? If not, councillor De Vries.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what I think I've said in the past, how disappointing this situation is. Do we have any idea how long this process is going to take, given that the panel before lasted over 6 months? I'm hoping we don't have this drag out for the same length of time.
CEO?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. The answer is no, I've never had to do this. The first directions hearing is on the 19th of May.
19th of May.
That's the first directions hearing. But
What is a first directions hearing? I'm familiar with this process as well.
It's basically just the tribunal chairman, whoever is appointed, having the parties together, having a conversation about the allegations, the process, seeing if there can be an outcome. If not, then it'll be listed for an actual hearing.
So theoretically it could be wrapped up then. If not, it could drag on beyond that period.
Theoretically, yes. Again, we haven't been through this. I can't give you an accurate outcome.
Thank you.
All those in favour? Carried. Let's get councillor Priest back in, please. Item 7.1.7 on page 121. Page 121 is the Department of Education Memorandum of Understanding. Moved councillor De Vries, seconded councillor Priest. Either one wish to speak to it? No further comment. All those in favour? Carried. 7.2.1 is the monthly financial report as of the 31st of March 2026 on page 137. Moved councillor Angus and seconded councillor De Vries. Either one wish to speak to it? No further comment. All those in favour? Carried. (7.2.2) on page 140 is the Tanunda Heritage Trail.
Move the recommendation, Your Worship.
Moved councillor De Vries and seconded councillor Lane. Either one wish to speak to it?
Only to thank, even though she's not here, Patsy Biscoe for her involvement in this ongoing process. I was on that committee with her and others within the township in my early time here on the council, and I know how hard she's worked on this and how passionate she is about it. So just want to acknowledge that.
Do you speak? Councillor Barrett.
Yes, I have a question, Mayor, and I excellent presentation. This one on the Heritage Trail, quite like the idea. The only question I've got is in relation to the SA history funding for the First Nations. Can I just have a little bit more background? What type of thing is envisaged with that 17,000? Because normally apply for a grant and it's for something quite specific. Just enlighten people what the 17,000 is going to be spent on for the Indigenous First Nations heritage.
Thank you.
Is that better? So yes, it's my understanding that funding was specifically sought to encourage and enhance our storytelling in Tanunda, and has been used now to align with and provide a geographic, I guess, locational map aligned to our existing storytelling to enhance the dual, I guess, sharing of those stories as they relate to the region. And it was always designed originally, the First Nations component, as a pilot to determine and establish a way forward in terms of engaging a consultant that we could then look to expand across the various townships across our region as we look to improve wayfinding and storytelling as part of that broader network. But given that there's already a foundation within Tanunda, we felt that site would be suitable to commence that process, if that's where you were going with the question.
Any further comment? Heritage Week's coming up shortly, so all those in favour? Carried. 7.3.1, the REX Level 2 Condition Report on page 145. Councillor De Vries.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. It's a question. I had a very long conversation with Mr. Clark this morning actually, about this particular item. I thought at the time that $100,000 was a lot of money, and I was sort of needed reassurance, and I thought maybe Mr. Clark could maybe encapsulate some of the comments that he shared with me earlier, which I have to be honest, turned my mind around.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So basically the idea of this is to try and better understand where particularly mechanical, electrical and all of the services within the REX are. So it's an ageing facility that we don't have the in-house expertise to understand all of the inner workings of mechanics. So we need someone to come and look at that. So they can look at the inside of the pool. Guy goes in with, full scuba kind of kit to go inspect all of the pool, all of the mechanical services. And then we can then develop a plan over the next 10 to 15 years on what our investment and renewal needs to look like. And the reason to try and get ahead of it is so that reputationally what we don't want is, as it stands now, it's kind of break fix. So if a pump fails, we go and fix it. Hopefully they've got them in stock that we can repair them quite quickly. If we are able to better understand when we think things might look to fail, we can replace them ahead of time, but also manage the reputation and costs where we aren't paying a premium for emergency works. Where a pump fails, we get someone in straight away. We can plan, we can do a proper procurement process to try and manage costs more effectively. Because the last thing we want to do is have something fail and then we've got the pool shut down for a month. If we can sort of get ahead of that and we can strategically identify windows of opportunity that there might be less users in the facility to try and undertake works, or we can at least give them a heads up that, we're going to be doing some works over the next month, but we can give them, 2, 3, 4 months worth of notification before we do that. We've tried to find as much budget within the existing budget, so we require an additional 49,000 towards that. We've funded the rest from already existing budgets related to asset management, and the idea being that we're going to treat it similar to our roads that we've gone through, where we can then model the investment over the next 10 to 20 years and get a better plan and understand.
A follow-up question, if I could. Just as there is a cost in doing something, there's also often a cost in not doing something. Perhaps you might share that part of our discussion as well.
Yeah, so through Mr. Mayor, we have to do it at some point. So either we continue to run the risk of something failing tomorrow. We could go and start replacing things ad hoc that we think is appropriate, but something else could fail because we're not necessarily accustomed. It has to be done at some point. This sort of sets the baseline, and then we can then manage from there. Like any other audit, we'd probably look to do it in, the future years, and another 7 to 10 years, we might go and do another audit. But the cost would just be built into the base, and we'll do it within existing budgets. At this point here, for me, the cost of not doing it is a significant reputational risk that should something fail, then we're in trouble. And I reckon that over the course of the 10-year program we'll get from this, we'll be able to save that $80,000 in procurement and costs like that. So I think the cost will be offset. It's just, I think that the risk for me and the team, we believe, is high that we don't understand our assets appropriately.
I'm happy to move if anyone else doesn't have any questions.
Thank you. This is appropriate to the CEO, being the financial guru amongst everyone here. As I read through it, I see there's 2 recommendations, and the second one, I started looking at the figures, and I saw the net financial liabilities from 80.22 to 80.30, the asset renewal unchanged, and the operating surplus both 2%. I'm just trying to get my head around, are there any great advantages by putting it forward recommendation number 2 as against recommendation number 1, or can we live quite comfortably at recommendation number 1?
I'm probably looking at, let me get on the page. We're talking the REX level of service?
Yeah, there's 2.
Oh, we got 2 recommend.
Down the bottom, in the document, it says alternative.
There's an alternative.
Oh, it's not in the recommendation. That's okay. Okay, that's what I was just trying to follow. Thanks. Okay. Yep.
Thanks,
CEO.
Mr Mayor. Thanks, Councillor Barrett. The short answer to that is that this does the primary necessary assessment where the risks mainly fall. You could do the other one, but that's more of a structural, well, it is a structural engineering, which we tend to do in any case. Yeah, there'd be some benefit. Is there the benefit of that value? I'd say not at this point in time. It wouldn't make a lot of difference to those net financial outcomes, no. But my advice is that this is a reasonable way forward if we think that the value's there. But when they did the procurement, they sought both. So.
Thank you. Councillor Schilling.
I'm happy to second the motion.
Okay. Councillor Schilling. Either one will speak to it.
I suppose I should now. Look, what turned my mind around to this was the fact that it looks as though we're going to have to do it anyway at some point. So kicking the can down the road, quote unquote, we'd look pretty damn stupid if we did that and then something went wrong in the meantime and everybody'd say, well, you had an opportunity to do something about it. Why didn't you act when you could? If the Rex was only 2 or 3 years old, then I'd be less concerned about it. But it's getting to the point now where maybe we're not about to hit the iceberg, but there are icebergs out there, and at some point something is going to fail. And you've heard me say many times, we don't know what we don't know. And this is a classic example where we don't know what we don't know at this stage. This will enable us to have a good understanding of the state of the facility. I get my car serviced every quarter. It's the same basic principle. So, Mr. McVicker. So with that in mind, I think that this is just a prudent exercise, and I like the idea that this will then be factored into the budget in future years, so that once we set the ball in motion, we won't have any problems going forward. I'm also of the belief, having spoken to Mr. Clark, that we're going to end up not only having to do this at some point anyway, but there will be a saving by doing it. So to my mind, this feels like it's almost budget neutral. So it's just prudent to do it.
No, I think Councillor De Vries has said everything that needs to be said. Thank you.
No further comment. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. 7.3.2 is the Krieg Road, Lindott. Request to seal part of the road on page 149. Councillor Schilling.
Yes, I need to declare a conflict of interest. It's general conflict. I have a family member that works at St Jacobi School, so for the purposes of that, I'll leave the room and not participate in the vote.
Councillor Priest.
So I move the motion.
Move Councillor Priest.
No, nothing's been said.
I'm fine, thank you, Mayor.
Any further comment? All those in favour? Carried. .3.3 is the Tabor Cemetery Committee Incorporated request to reinstate the funding agreement. This is a heritage item too. We haven't got any public cemeteries in Tanunda.
Move the recommendation, Your Worship.
Seconded, Councillor Angus. Speak to it, councillors.
No, I think this is an absolutely essential relationship, and I think it makes an enormous amount of sense, and I'm delighted that we in the Tabor Cemetery are going into this relationship.
Nothing.
Thank you. Nothing further. All those in favour? Carried. 7.4.1 is the dog registration fees for 2026-2027 on page 62. Councillor Priest.
So moved.
Move Councillor Priest. Seconded Councillor De Vries. Would you speak to it? Okay. All those in favour? Carried. Members, next two items are related to confidential items for infrastructure and environmental service, and that's the Rex pool heater replacement tender, along with the Tanunda Kegel club rooms and toilet tender. So would someone move that we go into confidence? Councillor De Vries and seconded Councillor Hearn. All those in favour? Carried. With that, I We'll get a move into confidence. Oh, sorry, hang on, jumping the gun. Next item is the Tanunda Kegel Club rooms and toilet tender. Someone move we go into confidence on that matter. Move councillor De Vries and seconded councillor Hearn. All those in favour? Carried. All good? Councillors, that concludes our agenda for our ordinary meeting for April. Our next scheduled ordinary meeting is Tuesday the 19th of May 2026 at 5:30. Thank you for your attendance.